Happy birthday, dear Grandma. Happy birthday to you.
Cześć! The moment you have been waiting for is here. I did speak to my grandmother in Polish. As you can see, I am not in the normal space where I am when I make videos, and that is because I moved to North Carolina for school. So I am no longer at my house. I am in a room, which I could show you guys some other time if you're interested. But I did speak to my grandmother in Polish, and honestly, I kind of had the feeling this would happen, but I'm just going to warn you right now before you watch the footage that it is anticlimactic, and I hope it's not too disappointing. I know for me, I was kind of, I don't know, like I said, I wasn't very surprised, but at the same time, I was expecting a little bit of a similar reaction to when I spoke to my grandparents in Spanish, being my mom's parents. And when I spoke to them in Spanish for the first time, their faces lit up and they were super happy. And to this day, and it's been years now, to this day they will say to me, "It's so good that you learned Spanish," and they are so happy that I learned it, and they think it's so useful, and they say this every time I visit them. But my grandma's reaction was a little bit different, so here's the moment you've been waiting for. Cześć! Robiłem coś. Kupiłem nowe butów. To jest moja siostra. Jest tutaj. Dziś nie jest urodzina. Moja babcia jest. Dziś jest 5 sierpnia, ale urodzina jest 8 sierpnia. Moja rodzina jest w kuchni. Teraz. Jest chyba ważne.
You look nice. What do you take a picture?
No, Angela.
I had something to tell you.
Yeah.
What?
Uczysz się po polsku. Pamiętasz po polsku?
How do you know that? I hope your father didn't teach you.
I'm learning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You said, do I understand Polish?
Do you remember Polish?
Or do I say it again?
Pamiętasz?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wow. Now the lady down is...
Now, yeah, the reaction was not what you guys were expecting. At the same time, that's kind of how she is, and you'd have to know her, so I wasn't completely surprised. And this part was cut off at the end, but because my dad was the one filming. But she ended up saying that she didn't remember most of the Polish language, which is really unfortunate, but sometimes that happens with people in their native languages. So, after 3 months of learning Polish, I didn't get to say a whole lot to her, but I hope you could see from the other footage in that video that there are some things that I could say. So in about 3 months, as you can see from my progress, I finished the tree, the Duolingo Polish tree, but I've had a hard time keeping up with it and keeping it gold. At first, I was able to do that pretty well, but then as time went on, I got busy, and like I said, I just moved. I lost my Polish streak 3 different times, and they were all during short periods, like a short time within each other. I actually lost my 3rd one last night, and I've been trying to review, even if it's not through Duolingo, but by that I don't mean breaking from the challenge, but I mean reviewing my notes in my notebook that I took, or just kind of thinking in my head, trying to think in Polish, make some sentences on my own. One thing that was really surprising is the amount of cognates in the Polish language between multiple languages. Now, some people have said that there is a connection between many languages in the humanities and kind of politics, the arts, all that. But going into Polish, I honestly thought it would be 100% different. Maybe there would be one English word or something, but there were even grammatical structures that were similar to Spanish, as in ile masz lat, which is how old are you? But if you were to translate it, I believe, because masz is a conjugated form of to have, so I think that that would mean how many years do you have, which in Spanish, or the Romance languages in general, because I have studied Portuguese and French, it's also the same structure. ¿Cuántos años tienes? How many years do you have? And then another thing is nie ma sensu. Nie ma sensu is it doesn't make sense. Well, in Spanish, it would be no tiene sentido, which is also it doesn't make sense. But if you were to translate it literally, neither one of them are it doesn't make sense. It means it doesn't have sense. So I thought that that was interesting that that crossed over into Polish. I don't know, maybe it was just a coincidence. I don't really know the history behind any of those languages, but I thought it was super cool. There was also other vocabulary words that were similar that I noticed in these lessons, such as computer, komentarz, let's see what else, poesia, which is like, you could tell, you could guess, but especially if you speak a Romance language. Lista, which is a list. Let me see what else. I have a list in front of me, actually. Telefon, and then moda, which is also the word for fashion in Spanish, which I thought that was super interesting as well. Now, this is not my final Polish challenge video. I'm going to make a different video on my thoughts of the Polish challenge and kind of what I thought of not just the Polish language and how much I could learn, but of Duolingo and how much you can learn from the app by just using the app. Kind of like a review almost, but not really. Kind of an analysis, that's what I'm looking for. So kind of an analysis on this challenge and how it went for me. Let me know how it went for you, if you've been doing it as well. I know that on the Duolingo website there have been people who have been faithfully posting their updates, and others who have been faithfully reading that I didn't know about until they mentioned it. But if you are doing it and you haven't said anything, or even if you have, let me know how it's gone for you and how much you learned, especially if you chose a language that wasn't Polish. I'll see you guys next week. Bye bye! Papa!